welcome. I'm Thomas. This is Wonder of Existence. As always, I got Mike, and here with me, we are enjoying the topic of reincarnation. And this is the third episode of reincarnation. We touched upon a lot of aspects of reincarnation and the karma itself, including virtual reality and a river of forgiveness. Forgetting. Yeah. Thanks for correcting me. There's still lots of another aspects, and one of them is our past lives, which is part of the reincarnation in general. So we know that according to reincarnation, life goes on, then we die, then we come to this world again. But what about the past lives? How do you see the existence of yourself in a different body in the past? Now you're in the next life. Perhaps there'll be another life. How do you see that, Mike?
Yeah, well, there's a couple of points that relate to this that I really find interesting when I'm thinking about reincarnation. Especially to help me through this life, give you a better perspective to handle everything that's going on in this life. And when we were talking about the river of forgetting, and we hear stories of people who don't forget, they remember. And when you look at this earth, it's almost like there are clues, certain clues, like certain drugs or some events that might wake you up and give you an insight, like near-death experiences even, give you an insight into something bigger. It's almost like it's sort of little Easter eggs in a video game, you know, that if you stumble on them, you get more power or you're more insight, so you know where you're going to help you along. And it's like they've been planted here for us to discover, if we're interested enough and awake enough to find them. And
that includes also, because you're saying on the way, but there's also situation when small kids, so new creatures still having access to sort of.
Well, this is it. There's the river. I mean, that's just an analogy as well. But there's different levels of forgetfulness. You know, and that's and maybe you need if your path is to say be awake early to understand it, or maybe there's something in that for you to learn or to experience, then you take a little dose of this forgetful fluid or whatever. And if you really want to have a full-on earthly experience, maybe you take a bigger dose so you can go deeper into forgetfulness and that sort of thing. So, but children, maybe it doesn't work exactly, you know, or however it works, you know, there's a lot of stories of children who have that connection to another life, and even to remember past lives that they've had,
and some quite detailed,
detailed stories. So children in general tend to be more in contact with the spirituality. And if you're lucky or not, it depends, and it's all perspective, when you get older, you retain that or you lose it. There's two different experiences. And so that was one thing to think about, is the different levels of forgetfulness that you can have. It's not just we forget and then we come here. No, there's different levels of remembering. And for the purpose of what of what your task is here, or what your perceived task is. But I came upon another idea about these people who remember past lives. It's really funny when people say, "Yeah, I was Cleopatra," 1,000 people were Cleopatra, you know. Well, maybe they all were, you know, because we're all connected. Who knows? Or I was Napoleon,
or I was Jesus.
Or I was Jesus, and all those sort of things. And I got to thinking, well, you know, if you think about consciousness as a sort of field, and we're already in it,
yeah,
we're just focused here,
then
that
we simply get the access to those.
We get the access to memories. I mean, when you think about your memories, people will tell you that your memories are stored in your head. I don't believe that. I think they're stored in the field of consciousness, and your brain is just a link to that. And the reason you pick up a certain memory is because you resonate at the same frequency as that memory, if you want to talk about frequency, and it's easier to resonate with something you experience yourself, so you remember. But suppose you resonated just like turning a dial on the radio, when you pick up a station you've never heard before, it just, by chance, it picks up a message from Alaska or somewhere like that. Well, that could be what you're doing when you're remembering a past life. Maybe it wasn't your past life. You're remembering somebody else's life, or somebody else's past life. But you're remembering it because you've tuned into it. And that's where the idea of the Akasha is. The Akashic records are the memories of everything.
Correct. The
records of everything. And suppose that's what you're doing when you're remembering. Your own memories are stored in the Akasha and you're picking them up. Well, maybe you tune into something else and with detail and think, oh, that must have been my past life.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's somebody else's life. You haven't lived that one yet. And that's something that really fascinates me, because obviously we don't know. Again, we don't know. We wouldn't know if a past life was ours or somebody else's. If we can tune into that information, we can pick that information up. That was really something that's another aspect of it that just fascinated me. And nog, one more thing.
Yeah, third.
Can I interrupt you here, or do you want to?
Well,
go with
quick interruption. Yeah.
I just want to say that what you're saying, it really resonates with my view from the technology point of view at those aspects.
Yeah.
Because the Akashic Chronicle are like a database,
Yeah.
and the computer is a God, is a source,
Yeah.
and we are the part of the God,
Yeah.
or we are gods, but spread into those small entities.
Yeah.
And when we come back, we basically give up all those memories, and they all been recorded in this database. And then whoever of us reaching out to this information can read out of it, which means that you feel like you were Cleopatra or the Jesus or whoever else.
Yeah.
So that really makes sense to me, and it really goes.
Also, explain why more people pick up on information of somebody who's a very powerful figure, because it's been repeated and repeated. It's stronger. It's a stronger network of memories that it makes it easier for other people to pick up on.
Yeah.
So.
And what makes clear that the internet is just a copy of the Akasha Chronicles.
Well, basically, yeah.
A tactical copy.
I mean,
sorry. Okay, Mike, number 3.
No, because we will have to go deeper into that direction. But I just wanted to interrupt just for a second, just to say that I look at this very similar way, but looking through maybe by newer generation. I'm slightly newer generation than you are, so perhaps that's why I see it this way. But it really correlates with what you're saying. So
it correlates.
Okay, and the third one?
The third one was more to do with how people deal with their lives in this present incarnation. You know, and you see people and they're chasing after success, they're chasing after money, and they're bemoaning their own poverty or lack of success, or maybe they're complaining because they're not tall enough or not beautiful enough, or 1,000 things that people can complain about in their daily life. And you could say, well, okay, but I don't need to focus on becoming successful and rich. Maybe I did that in a past life. Maybe I did it in 100 past lives and I got fed up with it. And now I finally want to be poor And what am I doing? I'm chasing after wealth. I'm going to make a mistake. If I get it, I'm going to have to come back and try again. And maybe in another life, I was, say, tall and beautiful. Or maybe in the next life, I will be tall and beautiful. But for this life, I chose to be this. So let's just focus on what I've got here now and who I am here and now, and forget about the rest, because it doesn't really matter if that guy is better than me in some things. Well, maybe that's the first time he's been that, but I've been that 100 times. So you end up, when you focus on yourself and what you've got and really appreciate it, and that's where your focus is, not on what you've not been, because you could have been that many times before and can be that many times in the future in other lives, but you're here in one particular suit, jacket, clothes, whatever you want to call it, and this is what you've got here, and this is your experience now. So let's focus on that. And then you stop comparing yourself to other people. When you stop comparing yourself to other people, you don't experience that envy. That actually it's what drives people to go for things that they don't really deeply want. It just distracts them. People are distracted again by trying to beat other people instead of bringing it back to themselves. And it just frees you up when you only really bring it back to yourself. It frees you up from, it doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter what they believe. It doesn't matter what they succeed in. It doesn't matter how great they are. It's not about them. What it is in this life is about you. And that's one of the things spiritualists don't like to talk about. They decide to say, but it's not about you. Yeah, but yeah, it is. Yeah. It's all about you. In this life, it's all about you. And for everybody else, it's all about them. Now, what it is about you might be to actually care about them and empathise with them and help them. It might be your thing to give up your life for them. Be careful though. Make sure that is what it is. But you can't know that unless you start off with yourself. And that comes right back down to discovering who you are. In which case, it's all about you.
The problem here is that you are exposed as a human creature, as a part of the society, local societies, or global even society. You're exposed to some cultural barriers or societies barriers or all kind of barriers. And if you are black amongst the whites, you'll be pointed out.
Yeah.
If you are short in Netherlands, you think they will tell you, oh, you're not Dutch or whatever else. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to say that you have to be on some certain waking up process level in order to understand, hold on, it doesn't matter if I'm short or I'm tall or if I'm rich or I'm poor or whatever else. Yeah. Because this is my role. I perform some tasks here and that's my purpose. But for majority people, because majority of people are not woken up, it's so important that they will do whatever they can. They do the Botox operations, whatever else, to shape into the form that it's attractive for the majorities.
They're living for other people instead of for themselves. And they're not happy with themselves. They can't give themselves any self-worth because they haven't learned to know themselves.
But this is once again because some norms created by humans. So within this society, for example, if you are, in Western Europe, it's norms.
Yeah, I thought you said nuns.
No, norms. So if we say that we in Western Europe we drive on the left-hand side of the road, then that's what we do. This is the norm, right? The same goes for some way we look. So if someone is born with some defects, the physical defects of the body, in most of the cases it's just pointed out, like the people put a finger, oh look, he's like this and that. So he doesn't fit to this environment because of those norms, but the norms are created by us, by humans within this physical world. And that's what you struggle with most likely during your life cycle.
Yeah,
If you're not equal or similar to the majority. And that's your problem in this physical reality. Unless you're conscious enough to say, kid, I don't give a damn about it, I am who I am. If you don't like it, it's your problem. I am who I am. But I've been suffering for a long, long time, thinking like, why I'm not as others. And at some point I just said, hold on. For example, I got a problem with my nose, that my nose is too big. And really, that was my problem for a long, long time. Up until I was, 20 plus. And I was thinking, I need to reshape it. It was so important to me that I thought I need to do it. And I sort of realized at some point that, hold on, this is not that important. But why? There was just a physical trigger, because my wife accepted me as I was. And then I said, okay, so that's not that important. Maybe it's actually the advantage for some others. And she confirmed, yes, that's something which attracts me in you. So that was physical trigger in this case. But what I'm trying to say is that if you are non-attractive to majority, then you've got a problem. Then you have to try to shape it yourself, or just say, I live as I am. I was born this way.
Before, if you choose to come to this earth, to incarnate in this earth, you also choose what you're going to wear, and you choose the nose, and you choose the eyes, and you choose the length, and you choose everything else.
And you choose the meeting with someone who just likes it.
Yeah, and you meet. You choose the place that you're going to go. Yeah. That's really going to start pointing the finger at you as well.
But you have to accept yourself. If you won't accept yourself, you will be suffering entire life.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's Buddha can learn us a lot about. This path he has, the eightfold path or the sixfold path, he has two paths, is really learnful for us. But maybe one aspect extra?
Go ahead.
Well, that's the difference between Eastern and Western view on reincarnation is that Western view has they use the new karma. You have old karma that's from our lives before. That's all the Eastern karma. They talk about what was before, but Western spirituality talks about future karma. So that you meet new people you never met, and you are beginning a series of life with those people, and that, well, you're born, most of the time the family karma is old karma, but the work karma can be, or music karma maybe, it can be a new karma. And then it is the start of new, and that's really different point of view for the Western spirituality. And the other thing is, the waking up. Well, I like to have small amounts of work on it. So one thing I think is important for all those. If I want to be Cleopatra, or maybe I do not want, but the risk is that your egoism prevents you to see reality. So your egoism wants you to be great, so you take Napoleon or Cleopatra or a figure you like. So the first thing you have to do is work on your egoism. Without working on your egoism, you will always have the trap of trying to be bigger than you are. It's the same, the Facebook trigger. You try to shape yourself in a more or better way. So you have to accept the minor things of yourself, the shadowy. You have to love your shadowy sides. Just to love your shadowy sides. But how do you do that? You can make it as an abstraction, then you don't have to do anything. But every day, look back on your day and try to see a diamond in your life and try to see the darkest point of your life. That could be a discipline that can help you to be able to look at your former lives before you will not pass the river of forgetfulness. What is the name?
Forgetfulness.
Forgetfulness.
It's
You won't
magic.
if you are too egoistic, you won't be able to pass the river of forgetfulness. So I think there are lots of, and it's possible maybe we can have a next time to look at the path of Buddha, the sixfold path and the eightfold path. But I have not that in the actual memory, so I have to
Look it up before you go.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it's possible to look at it, but the work we have to do on Earth is I think to be able to look through the thing that causes our not seeing what is there. Well, that's important work. So that could be a topic. What work we have to do, and one thing is the shadowy side. To look at the shadowy side each day, and we don't like that. We don't like colleagues who tell me, "Well, you're a great guy, but this point is you have to better it." And I like the colleague, the people that say, "Oh, you're completely right." If they call a shadowy side, you're completely right. So let's have a coffee together. Instead of making a quarrel about it. What is okay? That were the point.
Yeah, just write it down. This is for all our viewers, seeing that not always we are well prepared, because now we're sort of creating the a point of discussion for the next time. Because this is what the fifth point, I think, right?
Yeah.
Hit. This is the fifth point. So, Mike, you started off with 3, and and then you created the 4th one.
I had
now
some-
you got
some-
a 5th one, right?
Yeah.
I think 5th or 6th one.
New karma. Yeah.
Because there's another one which I wanted to add on top of that, and I think that we might finish or let's say park based on the last point which I'm going to say in a moment,
Yeah.
and then next time we can carry on with going into details with all those 6 points. What do you think about it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because the matter is so huge here that
Yeah.
we need another episode. So my point would be, we discussed all kind of options here, but all of them are rather positive than negative.
The negative.
And I want to present another option, which has been reported by loads of people during the regression sessions, hypnotic regression sessions, that perhaps reincarnation is not something what we want, but it's something what is being forced on us. So we come to this planet to enjoy this life, but some beings work hard basically to get this life miserable for us. Why? Just to feed off of us. Why? Because we, as God's creatures, we create the energy, and some creatures don't get access to the source, so they don't have access to the energy, so they need to suck the energy out of other beings. And we might be like a cow standing on the field eating something, and at the same time flies and mosquitoes are coming out and sucking the blood out of us. We're not fully aware of that, at least the cow is not fully aware of that, or even if it's aware, that it can just wave off a bit or move a bit about it just to shake off a bit of them, but still the blood is coming out. So what I'm saying is, might be, using this analogy, we might be the beings which are unconsciously the energy might be unconsciously taken out of us. And the reincarnation is just the program to help those beings to perform those tasks. So basically, when we die, even the process of dying is in lots of cases process which creates a lot of negative energy, which they can feed off of us. And then when we're born, in most of the cases, the process of getting to this world is painful for the newborn child, and also for the mother. So what I'm trying to say is there's loads of sufferness around us in our work, in our life cycle, which brings me to the point that if it goes and goes and goes, and we are with those flaps on ourselves because we are not conscious of what's going on, because we are in this virtual reality for, I don't know, endless time, perhaps that's how the system works. And we are part of the system, not knowing even that we are part of this system. And only some unique beings are conscious, self-conscious enough to understand, hold on, but I don't want to be part of it. And might be the Buddha or Jesus or other beings, might be those who are showing out the path to get out of this system.
Or being part of the program to free all those negative entities.
That might
could be a possibility too. It's positive, too positive maybe.
Yeah.
But
so this is
the negative energies are also imprisoned in their own little reincarnation cycle.
So this is another point, and quite big one. So we've got something to focus on the next time.
Maybe next time we can invite an expert who knows all. Oh, sorry.
No.
No, you don't want an expert.
No.
I don't know anybody who knows it all.
There's no expert in this area, I'm afraid, and average guy, we look at this from our point of view, and we perceive that the way as we perceive it, we see that as we see that, and we just describe that the way as we describe that. It's just our view on that.
Yeah.
And we clearly stated that at the very beginning of raising this channel, that this is how we're going to present the reality which is seen the way that we see it. Anything to add on top of that?
We have 6 points now, so
Keep us going.
let's go.
All right. So let's park it then for now. Let's carry on that in the next episode. So I'm happy to spend another hour to discuss that, at least. Thank you very much, Mike and Hirt. As always, a lot of pleasure. And thank you very much, all of you, for watching us. And see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Okay.